Hello BookTube! For the other tag video, I'm going to be doing this tag Tuesday. I'm going to be doing the Intimidating TBR Book Tag. The creator of this tag is currently unknown, but I was tagged by Booklist Pete, so I'll leave a link to his channel in the show notes down below, as well as a copy of the prompts if you would like to do this tag yourself. So let's get going. What book have you been unable to finish? Well, given that I am the Prince of Bailing, although I really should inform Sean the Book Maniac that he's been dethroned as the Empress of Bailing, but I'm going to choose one of the earliest books that I have bailed on and have never been able to bail redeem, and that is The Amazing Adventures of Kavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon. This is a novel set in the early years of World War II and through the, I think it goes into either the later 50s or into the 60s. So it's about two cousins, Kavalier and Clay. Kavalier is a young Czech man who fled the sort of the conquest of Czechoslovakia, and after a number of adventures, made his way to New York and his cousins, the Clays, where he moved in and formed a partnership with his cousin Clay to become comic book artists and writers. And so they created a comic book character called the Escapist. And the character takes off, and the brothers have their own misadventures. Kavalier goes into the army, falls in love, abandons his relationship. Clay comes to terms with his sexuality, has an affair with a radio actor who's playing the escape artist, and eventually marries Kavalier's girlfriend and raises her child. I first read this book sometime in the early 2000s. I think it would have been in 2001 or 2002. And I managed to get to the scene where Clay decides to marry, I think her name is Rosa, and raise Kavalier's child as his own. And at that point, I bailed out. I had to go at this book last year for a project I was doing called 10 Contemporary Classics I Must Bail Redeem. And it failed miserably. I made it nowhere near as far my second time around as I did the first time. I might give this another go. I don't know. Just because I really didn't connect with my bail redemption attempt. Next prompt. What book have you yet to read because you just haven't had the time? So for this, I'm going to go with The Middle Kingdoms by Martyn Rady. This is a history of Eastern Europe that I've been meaning to get to for a while now. I just haven't. Hopefully, I will be able to get to it this year. I really enjoyed Rady's book on the Habsburgs, and I'm hoping this will be as fun. What book have you yet to read because it's a sequel? For this, I'm going to go with Moon Witch Spider King by Marlon James. This is the sequel to Black Leopard Red Wolf, and it's a epic fantasy, or to a degree more I would say it's actually more sword and sorcery, inspired by African history and mythology. I have mixed feelings for Black Leopard Red Wolf. I don't think it's nearly as difficult to follow as a lot of readers have claimed it to be, but I'm also not all that fond of it. And so I've just never really gotten around to this book. What book have you yet to read because it's brand new? So I have three new releases in a number of manga series that I've been following that I had wanted to read yesterday. Unfortunately, one of the books did not come in until today. So I'm still waiting to read Dandadan Volume 7 by Yukinobu Tatsu, Eden 028 by Hiro Mashima, and Four Nights of the Apocalypse Volume 12 by Nakaba Suzuki. I will get to them once I finish the book that I'm currently reading. So probably either this weekend or sometime next week, depending on that. What book have you, and they're all brand new. They've all been released within the last month. So what book have you yet to read because you read a book by the same author and didn't enjoy it? Does Bailing count? For this, I'm going to go with First Become Ashes by K.M. Szpara. So I read his first book, Docile. Well, I build on his first book, Docile, years ago. And so Docile is about a like a dystopic near future in which a drug has been developed that makes its users, or those to whom it is administered, because it's not terribly willingly done, that basically makes them sort of space out for a period of time that allows them to be used in any way that their owners wish to. Because in this setting, there is a sort of a debt slavery has been reinstituted, and the main character is facing debt slavery because of various debts that his family has accrued. And so he decides to basically sell himself. And his stipulation is that he doesn't want to be on this drug. And his sort of indenture, his debt is bought by the wealthy young scion of the family that produced this drug. And what follows is basically the owner engaging in BDSM sex with the main character. First Become Ashes is maybe a contemporary realistic novel, maybe urban fantasy, about two survivors, or about a survivor of a cult that believe that through extreme suffering, extreme BDSM, sexual encounters, you can develop superpowers. And this main character kind of goes on a quest, and it's, yeah. So the reason why I picked these two books up is that there are points where I'm really interested in gay science fiction and fantasy. And it does tend to disappoint me. And unfortunately, with these two books, I'm really not all that interested in BDSM. So, anywho. Next prompt is, what book have you yet to read because you're just not in the mood for it? Well, okay, this is okay. Anyway, I think I don't know. Did I make a? Oh well. So I guess I'm going to go with. So this one can also go with the next prompt, but I have another book for that one too. So I'm going to go with The World by Simon Sebag Montefiore. This is a massive history of the world that I've had for about well, I haven't had it for about a year because I hemmed and hawed about actually buying this because I caught a mistake when I read a preview of the book shortly before it came out. I caught a mistake and it bugged me, but I ultimately did decide to go and buy it anyway. But I haven't gotten around to it yet because I've largely not been in the mood. Partly because it is so big. And finally, what book have you yet to read because what is the most intimidating book on your TBR pile? So I don't have a prompt for number 8, which is because it was a cover by that turned out to have poor reviews. I don't really give a hoot about reviews. I do sometimes cover by books, largely slim volumes of poetry. But I haven't actually gotten any new poetry lately. I was thinking about buying some from the University of Chicago Press because they had a month-long sale on poetry collections for National Poetry Month, but I never did, so I don't have any books for this prompt. So number 9 is what book have you yet to read because it is the most what is the most intimidating book on your TBR pile? I'm going to go with, well, I mean, this would be a good candidate for that too, obviously, but I'm going to go with American Empire by A.G. Hopkins. So this is a massive look at American imperialism that I've had for a few years now, and I just have never gotten around to it because, for one, it is humongous, and for another, it is just intimidating. So that was the Intimidating TBR Book Tag. If you would like to do this tag, consider yourselves tagged, and I will see you tomorrow with a new video. So until then, thank you, BookTube. Have a great afternoon and stay safe.